Well, the shop is a mess again. Pulled the old axle, measured everything, got the coil buckets and the lower control arm mounts mounted. I used a ballistic fab 4-link mount last time and made my own truss, which I like my design. If you notice, there's no holes. It's just a piece of DOM over the top of the axle, and then you can get to the back of it. So that's how I've always done trusses. They seem nice and strong. They're probably not as beefy as Artec, but in the environment, this axle was only under the Jeep for 1 year. Very dirty. I can see this being a problem. Anything that gets in here has got to get washed out. And I don't like weld through primer. I know I welded through the primer on those, but I don't like weld through primer. So I do know a trick with a paint can and a brake clean nozzle where I can paint most of the inside of this. I'll probably fluid film it after I paint everything, but that's the plan. Went ahead and dismounted these Maxxis tires off of these really messed up H2 wheels. I think I can probably take a flap disc to these and clean them up. I don't know if somebody wants some H2 wheels for their crawler. These would be good. There are a couple companies that make aluminum weld-on beadlock rings. So that's an option too. You can cut the lip off, which is already all chunked up on all of them. I mean, this thing was a bear to dismount because as the tire rotates, the tire machine would catch on all the chunks that are missing. But anyways, got all those dismounted. Had to have 2 people and pry bars, and yeah, it was a whole ordeal. But got those pulled off. Got a couple of my 39s pulled in here. Got a fancy Goodyear Wrangler, whatever these, the MTR Kevlar tires. Put that on as my spare, because my spare was about a 20-year-old or 18-year-old Canati tire. But yeah, that's about it. I am real close. Had the boy paint the outers in the center of the pumpkin because he wanted to. That was fun. Then when I have to finally finish paint this, I don't actually have to pull the calipers off. I'll put a bag over them, shoot the whole axle, and be good. So that's where I'm at. My axle shafts shipped from Dutchman like 5 days ago. They went from Idaho to Utah to Colorado, and then moved around in Colorado for a couple days. They were supposed to be here today. Now I think it's saying Friday. That's great. Also, I need to decide if I want to cut these track bar mounts off of this axle that I made and put them on that, or track bar, sway bar mounts off of this axle and transfer them over here. I don't think they're going to work because the carrier is so much wider. They'll be like partially welded on the carrier. But yeah, I got sway bar mounts that might get transferred, and I'm going to have to remake my shock mounts. I may plasma cut these off and see if I could use them, but I was thinking I could just leave this axle whole and sell it to a guy with a TJ or a something that, or another CJ7 guy that wanted a rear diff, because it's got a locker, it's got 513s, it's not a bad diff, it just really doesn't like 40-inch tires. Broken axle shaft, and what I've noticed on these 8.8s, and my buddy Will doesn't have the problem, but I've had 8.8s and XJs and CJs, they don't like getting side loaded. When the whole vehicle is up on its side and the tire's spinning on a rock, the sidewall of the tire is spinning on the rock, I've noticed it shoves the axle shafts in and out, I guess, and I end up with wheel seal leaks. Pretty constant. I'm always putting new wheel seals in them. Or outer axle seals, whatever you want to call them. I think what was happening is it was shoving the actual seal in and then tearing the seal, but I don't really know. I tack welded the little Fix-It 8.8 sleeves in the outside last time, and that worked really good until I broke an axle shaft and then tore up the seal again. So that probably would have been the correct thing to do, is just replace the seal and keep running this, but I've already broken axle shaft, so now I don't trust it. And this one is better. So we're just going to do that. Anyways, I'm going to get back to work. I'm not going to keep filming me talking and doing stuff. You guys are just going to get, here's what I'm doing, and then here's the axle done. Starting to think that maybe my friends that called this a stupid idea might have been right. So we got about 10 days left before this axle has to be about where I'm sitting. And I'm currently pulling the drive shaft because it's about an inch too long. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I got to finish welding all my sway bar mounts and my link mounts to that axle. That one sway bar mount looks wonky and I don't like it. And we're just going to keep plugging away. I'm going to hope the local drive shaft shop can cut this 2-year-old Adams drive shaft down and shorten it for me. If they say they won't, I will cut it and shorten it. So, yeah, here we go. I tell you so. Got links on the chain and getting crazy, getting lazy with all their formulations. Oh, such a short drive shaft already, and I need it an inch shorter. So, hopefully they'll do it for me. And it's not too short. I don't think it will be, but it'll be close. So, and hopefully my drive shaft angles are going to be happy afterwards. But I guess we'll find out the hard way. Okay, I'm going to finish welding this up. And I might see if I got enough footage to put out a video here, and then the next video will be it painted in the Jeep and probably going on a trailer. So, with 0 testing. Well, we'll see how it goes. I've done it before. It'll be fine. Cool.
I used to get high for a living, thinking that my destiny was out of my control. I used to get high for a living, there's lots of different reasons and I tell you so.
Well, I guess I'm not finishing that this evening. Cool.